Tonight, I will activate your mind to manifest anything. Yes, anything. I do not speak in metaphor. I do not deal in wishful thinking or half-hearted hope. I am telling you with every fiber of truth that the very mind you possess this moment holds within it the infinite power to reshape your entire world. Your current circumstances are not permanent. They are not fixed. They are fluid, moldable, and entirely subject to the images and assumptions you dare to impress upon the inner man. For man is all imagination, and God is man, and exists in us, and we in him. If you are waiting for something outside of you to change, so that you may feel different, you are living in reverse. Life is not lived from the outside in. It is lived from the inside out. Consciousness is the only reality. The world reflects not what you want, but what you are. And what you are is nothing but the sum total of the thoughts you continually think and the states you occupy. All transformation begins with a shift in consciousness, and the truth is simple. You become what you believe yourself to be. You cannot rise higher than your assumptions. Now let me show you something that will forever shift the way you view life. Close your eyes, mentally, if not physically, and bring to mind the thing you desire most. A home, a fortune, a partner, radiant health, purpose, joy. Whatever it is, you must now claim it. Not wish for it, not beg the heavens to grant it, but assume it as your present reality. The assumption, though false to the senses, if persisted in, will harden into fact. And here is the key. You must dwell in the end, not visit it occasionally, not test it as though you are unsure, but move into it as a tenant moves into a new home. Feel the furniture, touch the walls, smell the air of your fulfilled dream. You must learn to feel the reality of the unseen, for feeling is the secret. Feeling is the bridge between the inner world and the outer, and the law is always working. It does not rest. The universe listens, but it does not hear words. It hears frequency, it hears energy, and it responds with precision. When you say to yourself, I am wealthy, but inwardly feel lack, the law responds not to your words, but to your feeling. And so, you must marry the thought with the feeling. Thought alone is not enough. You must feel your way into the state desired. Think of your imagination as the womb of reality. What you conceive within, in time, will be born without. Do not concern yourself with the how. The mechanism is not your responsibility. The seed does not concern itself with the mechanics of the soil. It simply knows it must germinate. Likewise, your only task is to dwell in the state of the wish fulfilled. This is not delusion. This is the very key Jesus demonstrated when he said, whatsoever you ask for when you pray, believe that you have received it, and it shall be yours. Not shall be in time, but already is. Believe you have received it. Let me be clear. You do not manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. The subconscious mind accepts as truth that which you feel to be true. And so, night after night, before you fall asleep, revise your day. Do not drift into sleep thinking idle thoughts. Use this sacred moment to impress upon your subconscious the image of your fulfilled desire. See it, hear it, touch it in your imagination until it feels natural. This is the key. It must feel natural. The mind is always creating, even in your ignorance. Every idle word, every flippant statement, every grumble of discontent is a command issued to the subconscious. You must discipline your inner conversations. Talk to yourself as one who already possesses that which he seeks. The world is a mirror, endlessly reflecting your internal states. You cannot escape your own assumptions. Change your assumption, and the world changes accordingly. Now let me tell you something that most overlook. Doubt is also an assumption. Fear is a form of belief. And when you entertain these inner states, you are manifesting from them. The law is impersonal. It does not judge. It simply reflects. That is why I say to you, take no thought for the morrow. Do not project anxiety into tomorrow. Assume that tomorrow will bring with it the evidence of today's inner claim. Live as though it were impossible to fail. The world cannot resist a man who persistently assumes success. To activate your mind to manifest anything, you must first stop identifying with your past. Your past is dead. It lives only in memory. Do not let it define you. You are not your failures. You are not your traumas. You are not your circumstances. You are awareness itself. You are the operant power. And once you awaken to this, you are free. For if you can assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you will be led across a bridge of incidents to its realization. Your mind is the workshop of God. Imagination is not mere fantasy. It is the very substance of reality. Everything man has created began as a thought, a desire, a vision unseen by the world. And so it is with you. You must see it within before you can ever see it without. You must know it is done. When you imagine something and then feel the thrill of its completion, you set into motion unseen forces that must bring it to pass. This is not wishful thinking. This is law. This is scripture rightly interpreted. When the Bible speaks of faith, it speaks of a psychological certainty. It means loyalty to the unseen reality. It means walking by faith, not by sight. You must become so anchored in your inner vision that the facts of the world cannot sway you. Let the world say you are mad. It does not matter. The world always mocks the visionary until the vision becomes fact. Then they call him genius. When you activate your mind through imagination, you become one with the divine creative power. There is no power outside of consciousness. What you experience as your world is nothing more than the outpicturing of your inner conversations and sustained moods. Change the conversation, and the world reshapes itself. Speak to yourself with love, with confidence, with bold declarations. Tell yourself, I am chosen, I am blessed, I am wealthy, I am in perfect health. And do not say it timidly. Say it as though the universe must obey, because it must. Every moment you choose to accept only that which aligns with your desire, you are creating from your higher self. And when your senses contradict your assumption, you persist. This is the great secret. Persistence in the assumption of the wish fulfilled is the way to its manifestation. Do not be discouraged by time. Time is the delay between the planting and the harvest. The seed knows it must become the tree. So must you know that your assumption must become fact. Your mind, once awakened, is a tool of infinite power. It can build empires, heal the sick, open doors that were never meant to open, but only if you believe. You cannot half believe and expect full results. You must go all in. You must be willing to let go of appearances, let go of logic, and let go of needing to know how. This is the trust that brings about miracles. The mind is activated by conviction, and conviction comes from the repetition of the desired state until it becomes familiar. Sleep tonight in the feeling that your dream is already yours. Live tomorrow as though you have already received the answer. React not to appearances, but to the vision held within. If you do this, life must conform. The law has no choice. It does not argue. It does not reason. It simply reflects. You are not here to chase things. You are here to summon them. Through feeling, through vision, through the power of assumption, you call into your experience all that you desire. And what you desire is already yours, waiting only for you to claim it. There is no delay except the one you accept. There is no limitation except the one you believe in. The prison doors are open, but you must walk out. No one will do it for you. The power is in your hands. When you activate your mind, you awaken the God within. And the God within is not limited. The God within speaks and it is done. You are that God, dreaming the dream of life. And when you finally take hold of your imagination and direct it with purpose, you will find that the entire universe conspires to fulfill your assumption. So I say to you now, activate your mind, not later. Now, assume the highest version of yourself. Walk in the light of your fulfilled desire. Talk to yourself as the one who already has it. Feel the joy, the peace, the gratitude as though your dream were reality. And do not waver. Though the world may remain the same for a time, it must bend. The world always yields to the persistent inner state. You were never meant to beg. You were meant to create. You were never meant to struggle. You were meant to assume. You are the artist, the architect, the author of your life. Write it with conviction. Speak it with authority. Imagine it with clarity. And feel it with joy. Do this. And I promise you what is now invisible will become visible. What is now distant will draw near. And what is now a dream will become your living reality. I have spoken not from theory, but from experience. What I have lived, you too shall live if you dare to believe. You hold the key. Use it. Unlock the door. And walk boldly into the life that has been waiting for you all along. Let us go even deeper now. For the creative act is not a moment, it is a state, an identity. You are not a person who does imagination. You are imagination itself. You are not someone who occasionally manifests. You are manifestation, walking, breathing, and thinking. The degree to which you realize this determines how quickly and precisely your world responds to you. Once you truly grasp that your mind is the projector and the world the screen, you stop fussing with appearances. You go straight to the film reel. Your thoughts, your assumptions, your inner speech. You change the reel, and the scene must change. It is inevitable. This is the divine mystery. The world is yourself pushed out. Every person you meet, every circumstance you face, every so-called coincidence. It all arises from the patterns of thought you have entertained, accepted, and sustained. So if you wish to experience new relationships, new opportunities, new wealth, you must first form a new inner self. You must see yourself differently, speak differently, respond to life as the one who already is that which he desires to be. If you continue to think from the state of lack, you continue to call it into being, not because you are cursed, but because you are creating. Now hear me clearly. You cannot activate your mind by force or fear. You must do it through rest, through ease, through surrender. This is not about effort in the conventional sense. It is about assuming with such calm conviction that all opposition fades. You move through the world lightly, because you know the work is already done in the unseen. You do not argue with the senses. You do not battle circumstances. You return again and again to the vision held in your imagination, and you live there. You dwell there. You make it your home. And what is true in the inner world must become true in the outer. You must train yourself to feel the joy before the event, to feel the satisfaction before the result, to feel the abundance before the money appears. This is the essence of divine creation. This is what separates the awakened man from the sleeping one. The sleeping man reacts. The awakened man creates. He walks by inner law, not outer facts. He knows the law of consciousness and uses it deliberately. He chooses his thoughts. He selects his emotions. He accepts nothing unless it agrees with the vision he holds. This is the kind of mental discipline that leads to miracles. Do not underestimate the power of repetition. The subconscious accepts through repetition, through feeling, through persistence. If you say, I am wealthy, but feel otherwise, keep saying it, but not with desperation, with certainty. Let the phrase become a rhythm, a melody, until it takes root in the deeper self. And then when you least expect it, the outer world will bend. A phone call, a chance meeting, a new idea, all orchestrated by the unseen hand of your own imagination, responding to the new signal you broadcast. You are broadcasting all the time. The question is not whether you are creating. It's what you're creating. Every thought charged with emotion becomes a decree. Every fear entertained becomes a prayer answered. So why not reverse the pattern? Why not begin to choose deliberately, joyfully, courageously? Instead of expecting problems, expect favor. Instead of anticipating delay, anticipate instant magic. Instead of rehearsing what you don't want, rehearse what you do until it feels so natural that anything else would feel strange.
To this, once you assume a state and feel it real, the law begins to operate immediately. You may not see results that day or the next, but that means nothing. The seed is already planted. Do not dig it up with doubt. Do not cancel it with contradiction. Remain faithful. Remain still. The longer you persist in a state, the more natural it becomes. And when it becomes natural, it becomes inevitable. The power to manifest anything is not given to a chosen few. It is your birthright. It is not hidden. It is not reserved. It is here, waiting for your recognition. The moment you stop looking outside and turn within, you will feel it, like a quiet flame in the chest, a knowing, a calm certainty that it is done. That feeling, that sacred conviction,
is worth more than all the strategies in the world. For once you feel it, the outer must follow. The outer is never first. Never. It is always the echo. The cause is consciousness. If you doubt, do not be discouraged. Doubt is simply a suggestion, not a fact. You have the power to reject it, to replace it, to overwrite it. Do not argue with doubt. Transcend it. How? By moving into the state of the answered prayer. Feel now what it would feel like if the thing you desire were already yours. Do not just think it. Feel it. This is your divine faculty. This is how you activate the mind, not through worry, not through effort, but through bold inner acceptance. You are not here to live by circumstance. You are here to command circumstance, through feeling, through imagination, through the holy act of assumption. And the more you practice this divine art, the more natural it becomes. What once felt like fantasy becomes your norm, and what once felt distant becomes your everyday. You no longer hope, you know. You no longer wait, you dwell. And in this dwelling, all things are drawn to you, because they must be, because the law has no choice, because you have claimed it. Do not mistake silence for absence. The moment you change your inner state, your world begins rearranging itself. It may do so quietly. It may take paths you do not expect, but it will happen. You must be still and trust the law. You must return again and again to the end, the fulfilled desire. That is where your power lies. That is where your creation begins. That is how you activate your mind to manifest anything, by thinking from the end, not of the end. The feeling you cultivate is the magnet, and everything you want is already drawn to you, the moment you match its frequency. But you must hold that frequency, not once, not occasionally, consistently, faithfully, joyfully, as if it were your favorite song on repeat. That is how the subconscious accepts. That is how manifestation becomes your daily rhythm. You speak it, you feel it, you live it, and the world reflects it. When the old self rises, when fear knocks, when logic tries to explain why it can't happen, you smile. You do not resist. You return to your vision. You remind yourself who you really are, the operant power, the author, the one who commands reality with imagination. You say, thank you, but that is no longer my truth. And you step back into your new self, into your chosen state. That is how you walk by faith. That is how you reign over the outer world, not by force, but by assumption. So if tonight you wish to change your life, do not change the outer, change the inner. Go into imagination. Create a scene that implies your wish is fulfilled. Enter that scene with feeling. Make it vivid. Make it real. Hear the sounds. Feel the textures. Sense the joy. And do this until it begins to feel natural. And once it does, once you accept it as real, it must express itself. Not by your might, but by the law. Not by effort, but by alignment. Not by struggle, but by faith. Let this become your practice, morning and night, in silence and stillness, until it becomes your second nature, until you no longer react to the world, but create from within, until you no longer seek evidence, but become evidence, until you no longer need permission, because you know you are the permission. The truth is simple. You are already everything you wish to be. You need only to claim it, boldly, persistently, joyfully. The world is waiting for your signal, and the moment you send it, clearly, confidently, without contradiction, the doors open, not because you forced them, but because you finally remembered who you are, because you finally remembered that the outer world is simply clay in the hands of your inner vision. You remembered that the stories you tell yourself become the structures you live within, and now you tell a new story, one of certainty, one of abundance, one of infinite possibility. You do not question how the old dissolves. You simply persist in the new. You do not analyze the root, because you walk by assumption, not logic. You live as though it is already done, and that living is the prayer, the ritual, the alchemy. Your mind is a garden, and your dominant thoughts are the seeds. If you plant thoughts of lack, struggle, or fear, the weeds grow wild. But if you plant thoughts of wealth, love, and ease, your life becomes a blooming field of miracles. And this is not metaphor. It is the law. Imagination creates reality. Not some imagination, not random imagination. Your imagination, your felt belief, your assumption. And to activate this mind is simply to turn your attention within, to impress the subconscious with that which you choose to be true. As you persist, the subconscious accepts. And once accepted,
It begins to organize everything around you to match. It does not argue. It does not delay out of cruelty. It waits only for your consistency. So many people give up too soon, not because the law failed, but because they wavered between old and new. One day they believe, the next they doubt. One moment they feel it real, the next they fear it won't work. And this is the only thing that breaks the bridge of incidents. This is the only thing that delays the delivery. But you will not waver, because now you know. And once you know, you cannot unknow. The truth has touched you, and it will not let go. From this day on, you move differently. You speak as if it is done. You think from the result. You sleep in the wish fulfilled. You begin and end your day as the version of you who already has it. Not because you're pretending, not because you're playing games, but because you're creating deliberately, lawfully, eternally. If only you understood how powerful you are. If only you could see how every single shift in your inner dialogue creates ripples that move mountains. If only you knew how close you already are to everything you've ever wanted. There is no distance. There is only a veil of belief. And the moment you change belief, you tear the veil. And behind it, the life you've longed for, the love you've dreamed of, the freedom you thought was far away, already here. And so I invite you, no, I urge you, begin tonight. Close your eyes and feel it real. Whatever you desire, imagine what implies it is already yours. Don't force, don't strain. Just allow the scene to unfold. Make it lovely. Make it natural. Make it feel like home. And then dwell there. Visit it again and again. Let it become more real than your current world. And as you do, you will notice something strange. The outer begins to shift. People change. Events align. Paths open. And you smile, not in surprise, but in recognition. For you remember, you created this. You will no longer wonder if it works. You will no longer seek signs. You are the sign. You will walk through life as the operant power, silently radiating the vibration of your chosen state. And people will ask you, how are you so lucky? How do things always work out for you? And you will know the answer is not luck, but law, not chance, but choice. You have activated your mind. You have taken dominion over your inner world. And in doing so, the outer bends in joyful submission. The old you, the reactive you, the doubting you, the waiting you, is gone, buried in the silence of assumption. And in its place a new self is born. One who does not hope, but knows. One who does not seek, but allows. One who does not plead, but thanks. This is the self that creates worlds. This is the self that walks in constant awareness of truth. And truth is simple. You are the operant power. What you assume to be true, with feeling and persistence, must harden into fact. It does not matter if others see it yet. It does not matter if the world agrees. You are not asking for permission. You are not waiting for proof. You are giving proof to the world, to yourself, to the law. And the law responds, always, exactly, impartially, unfailingly. You are not at the mercy of circumstances. Circumstances are at the mercy of you. You do not need to convince others. You do not need to post your desires online, seeking validation. You need only to dwell in the end. That is the secret. That is the method. That is the key. And once you make the end your home, everything else falls into place. For you are no longer pulled by appearances. You are guided by vision. You are led by knowing. You are moved by the deeper voice within, the voice that whispers, it is done. And when you wake in the morning, you do not look around to decide how to feel. You decide how to feel, and the world mirrors it back. You do not ask, what will today bring me? You declare, this is what I bring to today. That is the power of an activated mind. That is the life of the conscious creator. And it is your destiny, not someday, not after struggle, but now, the moment you claim it. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to be enlightened. You need only to be consistent. Inner certainty, repeated, becomes external law. Thought, saturated with belief, becomes matter. So don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for conditions to change. Step into the version of yourself who already lives the life you desire. Speak as them, walk as them, breathe as them. This is not make-believe. This is creation. This is manifestation. This is divine law, in motion. If ever you fall back, if fear creeps in, if doubt arises, do not panic. Simply return, gently, quietly, consistently. The truth never left you. You merely stepped away from it. But now you return, like the prodigal son, to the house of fulfillment. And the moment you return, the feast begins. For the universe does not punish. It reflects. It does not delay. It responds. It does not judge. It accepts. You are always welcome back to the state of your choosing. You are always one assumption away from a new reality. You need no tool but imagination. You need no ritual but feeling. You need no proof but your own inner conviction. This is the way. This is the path. This is the divine technology built into your very being. Use it, trust it, live it, and everything you've ever longed for will rush to meet you, not as reward, but as reflection, not as something granted, but something assumed. And in this sacred knowing, you are free. This freedom is not loud. It does not shout from rooftops. It walks quietly, gently, confidently, because it knows it does not need to prove anything. The man who knows he is rich does not talk about money. The woman who knows she is loved does not ask for reassurance. They live from the end. They do not project their desires into the future. They embody them now. That is the greatest power of the activated mind. It does not seek the thing. It becomes. It you no longer strive. You no longer wish. You no longer hope. You move in calm, deliberate conviction. Because once you truly accept a thing is done, the desire for it dissolves. Not because you've lost interest, but because you've taken possession. And when you've taken possession in consciousness, you know it must appear in form. This is the law. It is not complicated. It is not reserved for the few. It is not mystical. It is mechanical. Assumption, sustained with feeling, must be made manifest. You are now entering a state of divine authorship. You do not chase. You write. You do not ask. You declare. You are no longer the character, tossed about by plot, twists. You are the author, writing the next chapter before it happens. And you do this not through effort, but through stillness, through imagination, through the sacred repetition of inner vision. Others may say you're delusional, that you're ignoring reality. Let them. You are not here to defend your vision. You are here to live it.
For what is reality? If not a mirror, a reflection of the dominant assumptions you hold inside. If the mirror shows a face you do not like, you do not scold the mirror. You change your expression. Likewise, when the world shows something unwanted, you do not react. You return within and reimagine. You know that the only creative act is assumption. Everything else is echo. And so day by day you activate deeper levels of your mind, not by force, but by faith. You do not beg your subconscious. You inform it. You do not negotiate with it. You impress it. And the subconscious, like fertile soil, accepts your dominant impression without question. If you impress lack, it gives you lack. If you impress wealth, it gives you wealth. It does not care what is true. It only cares what is believed. This is why belief is the greatest currency in the universe. Not action, not talent, not education. Belief. You could do all the right things and still fail if your inner state says, I am not enough. And you could do very little and still succeed if your inner state says, I am chosen. For the outer follows the inner with unwavering obedience. It has no will of its own. It bends to the image impressed upon it. And when you truly understand this, you no longer fear the world. You master it. You are not a product of your past. You are a product of your assumptions. Your past is only alive to the degree you identify with it. Change your self-concept, and your past dissolves. The identity you hold is the filter through which all life passes. Change that filter, and you change the world you see. If you believe you are unlucky, life will confirm it. If you believe you are blessed, life will rearrange to prove it true. This is why I say, you do not need to wait. The shift can happen in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. If you believe a miracle takes 30 days, it will. If you believe it happens instantly, it can. You are not bound by time. You are bound only by belief. So why not choose the highest? Why not declare, it is done, and feel the thrill of knowing that life has already conspired in your favor? You do not need to see how. You do not need to figure it out. That is not your role. Your role is the assumption, the method, the persistence. The rest belongs to the bridge of incidents, those invisible chains of events that the universe will now organize to bring your assumption to life. And that bridge will not always look the way you expect. It may disguise itself as delay, as loss, as redirection. But do not be fooled. The bridge is perfect. It is leading you precisely where you intend to go. When you feel discouraged, return to the vision. When doubt whispers, what if it doesn't work? Answer silently, but what if it already has? When fear says, you're not ready, remind it, I've already become. This is how you walk by faith, not by sight. This is how you hold the state, even when the senses scream otherwise. And as you hold it, as you dwell in the end, you will see the world shift, not slowly but suddenly, not gradually, but completely. People will return into your life, now treating you as the version you assumed. Money will show up in ways you couldn't predict. Opportunities will appear that feel too perfect to be coincidence. But you will not be surprised. You will smile, calmly, because you knew. You knew all along. You knew from the moment you said, I will activate my mind. You knew the moment you claimed the new state, that the old had no choice but to fall away. In this knowing, you rest, not in passivity, but in power. You take inspired action, yes, but from a place of fulfillment, not desperation. Your words become clear, calm, confident, because they are not seeking, they are confirming. Your movements become intentional, not rushed, but regal. You do not chase, you magnetize. You do not hustle, you attract. You do not beg, you bless. This is the life of the operant power. This is the life of the awakened soul, and it is yours, right now. Not after more books, not after more proof, not after more waiting, but now in the stillness of this moment. The switch is inside you, the choice is internal, and the result is inevitable. You have stepped into the authority of your divine self. You are no longer reacting to life. You are giving life direction, and life obeys, because it must, because it is your servant, not your master. Keep going, keep imagining, keep dwelling in the state of the wish fulfilled. The more you return to it, the more natural it becomes. And one day you will forget to try, because you'll simply be. The state will no longer feel foreign. It will be your dwelling place. And from this place, manifestation becomes effortless. Not because you did something, but because you became someone. And that someone, the one who lives in fulfillment, is who you were always meant to be. So I leave you with this. You do not need to become anything. You only need to remember who you are. The operant power, the imaginer, the creator clothed in flesh. The world is not happening to you. It is happening through you. Every thought, every feeling, every assumption is a seed. And now that your mind is activated, you will plant only what you wish to harvest. You will not beg for miracles. You will embody them. You will not hope for change. You will assume the change, and watch the world bow in obedience to your inner command. Dare to believe in the unseen. Dare to feel it real. Dare to walk as if your every desire is already yours, because it is, and let the old reality crumble. Let the doubts die. Let the fear fall away. You have entered a new state of being, a new identity, a new world, and from this moment forward, everything must change, to reflect the self you have chosen to be. It is done. Now walk in it, live in it, breathe in it, and watch the impossible bow to the one truth that sets you free. Your imagination is God in action.